everybody. Welcome to Monday Mindset. I'm Erin Hart, and today we are talking about how to travel when you're living a sugar and flour free lifestyle. So, if you don't know who I am a registered nurse health coach, and I empower women to get off of the dieting roller coaster and to lose weight for the last time with a sugar and flour free lifestyle. My program is called The Year of You, and it's a year to dedicate to your health, to prioritize your self care so that you can live the rest of your life and not have to focus on food obsession. So, today, like I said, we're talking about traveling. So, I'm really excited about this. This is something that's timely, I think, for the summer. A lot of you have trips planned, and you may feel a little bit nervous about it. I remember when I first started my sugar and flour free lifestyle, the thought of traveling while living sugar and flour free seemed so impossible, right? But I'm here to tell you that it's not impossible, and that sometimes you just gotta jump out of the plane and grow wings on the way down. You just gotta go for it and commit to it, and that is how you gain confidence, is through experience. So it is totally possible, and I'd like to offer you the thought that it's actually super easy and it's not as hard as we make it out to be in our minds. I also want to offer you the thought that you're not missing out, and that staying on plan actually makes your trip more fun than if you were to eat off of your plan. So that's one of the benefits of coaching, is we learn different ways of thinking. We learn and master our mindset, and sometimes we need someone to offer us different thoughts than we're having. So how in the world could it be fun and easy to eat sugar and flour free on a trip? Well, one of the ways is that it just really clears up your mental space to enjoy the beauty around you and to connect more deeply with your loved ones and your friends that you're traveling with. When you're not thinking about all of the sexy food, and you're really just committed to eating the food that is on your plan, it actually does clear up a lot of space in your mind. So that you can just really focus on deep connection with your family and like enjoying the beauty all around you wherever you are. So it's a choice, and to eat on your plan during a trip, and it's a choice that you really only have to make once. So at the beginning of your trip. So, but it's so worth it, and we have to just be careful, because it's so natural for us to think, well, it's a trip, and maybe I can just go off my plan for this special occasion, right? But the trouble with that kind of thinking is that it really doesn't foster your identity. If every occasion becomes a special occasion, then that's a lot of exceptions. That's really going to slow down your progress toward your goal. And we want to have that sprinter's mindset and get through the weight loss phase as fast as possible so that you can be able to enjoy your life in maintenance. So the way to make it easy is to focus on identity. So imagine a vegetarian going on a trip. Okay? A vegetarian would really just not go off of their plan just because they're traveling somewhere, or just because it's the weekend or a holiday, right? It's all about identity and embracing and surrendering to the identity of a sugar and flour free lifestyle, that you are a person that is a healthy eater. So identify as someone who eats meals at meal times made of healthy, real food. So managing your lifestyle while traveling is a topic that that in the last weekend, Sherilyn Arnold, she gave this really great lecture on how to travel with a sugar and flour free lifestyle at the Brightest in Utah conference. It was so fun. And I just loved her talk. So I want to share with you some of the things that I learned from there. And one of the things that she said, going deeper with identity, is she was worried about her friends, giving her a hard time on a girls' trip that she was going on. So she really just talked to them at the beginning and said, my fear is that I'm going to go on this trip and you're going to give me a hard time for what I'm going to eat and when. And, just putting those boundaries up front really helped her friends to understand the importance for her of staying on plan, uh, and making sure that they had fun and she had fun, and setting those boundaries that you have dietary needs too, and it's okay to have needs yourself. So one of the things she did when one of her friends was giving her a hard time was, her friend doesn't drink alcohol or smoke or anything, and so when her friend was giving her a hard time and saying, "You're really not going to eat that, right, in Italy?" And she was like, "Yes, I'm really not going to eat that." Or she said, "I will eat that if you go smoke a cigarette right now, or if you go drink a beer." And it kind of sunk in with her friend. Okay, that is not who I am, so I understand that this is not who you are. So just setting those boundaries up front with your family and friends can be really helpful, and it can be done in a really kind and loving way. But just, it's okay to have boundaries and to stand up for what you need. The way to be successful traveling with a sugar and flour free lifestyle is absolutely to plan ahead. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And some words to live by that Sherilyn Arnold talked about in her lecture. She said, "I am responsible for the quality and quantity of the fuel that goes into my body. Unless I am being kidnapped, I generally know exactly where I will be and for how long at any given moment." Isn't that so empowering? She made us recite these, and it was so funny. She also said, some other words to live by are that I can have a backup plan in place that is simple and easy to execute so that I never get caught unable to feed myself properly. I know what groceries I have and how long they should last, and the location of the nearest store in case I need more. I do not wait until I'm on empty and the cupboards are empty to start planning how I will feed myself. And the other words to live by, she said, were that no one ever died from skipping 1 or 2 meals. If you are really in a tight situation and you just are going to have to wait a couple of hours before you can eat and find something, it's okay. You're going to be fine. But it's so important to just really nurture your identity, prove to yourself with your actions who you are, and it's gonna, I promise, it really will make your trip so much better. This last week, I went on a retreat with my one-to-one clients, and it was just so amazing. But our last day, I was taking one of my clients to the airport, and so we stopped in Park City at this market. And it was so awesome because she and I had prepped our meals ahead of time, just in case there wasn't, compliant food at the market that we could find. And so we had that backup plan, and it just made it so fun because we had 2 hours, we were just walking through, and yeah, there was no compliant food there. So but we didn't have to worry at all. I know that if I wouldn't have had that meal backed up, that backup meal, that I would have been stressed. I would have the whole time been thinking, okay, well, where am I going to eat? Like, when can I eat? I don't see any compliant food. And that's where my mind would have been, would have been focused on where is healthy food? How am I going to find it? When am I going to eat? All of that food chatter. But because I had that backup meal in the car, it just made it so fun. I had no food thoughts, and I was just enjoying the amazing, gorgeous market. And it was such a lovely experience to spend with my client. We had so much fun together. So it was just testimony to me that this is important to plan ahead. If you always have a backup meal available, uh, you are just going to have a lot more peace on your trip and be able to focus on the things you really want to focus on instead of the food. So, some great backup meals are, you can just keep it simple, portable stuff. So, I always do hummus or roasted chickpeas. There's nuts, cheese, Triscuits, apples, carrots, oranges, things that are portable. So just always keep a supply with you when you're out and about. If you're not exactly sure where you're going to get your next meal, just have it just in case. And if you don't need to use it, that's great. Try not to use it. Try to just find something where you are. But it just brings a lot of peace to know that you have what you need. So some of the tips that Sherilyn gave were for short getaways. So if you're going on a short getaway, look for really those good non-refrigerated items like I just mentioned, or those smart choices while eating out. That's a good option, but a better option is really to just bring a cooler with you. A cooler with all of your refrigerated items, and just minimal eating out. Still making smart choices, if there's something that you need to eat but look for those smart choices that are on your plan. But the best option for short getaways is really just finding a full or partial kitchen. So staying with somewhere with a full or partial kitchen and bringing in your own groceries. So try to cook on your trip. It's actually really fun and can save you money, and that's just probably the best option. But definitely it's totally great if you want to eat out every meal. But what I find really works for me on my trips is I usually eat my breakfast and lunch that I pack, and then we eat out for dinner is usually how I go about it. For longer trips, if you're going to be gone for 7 days or more, try to scope out the scene for the restaurants and grocery stores before you go on your trip. Try to find out where they are, and one really great tip that she gave was before you even get there, just put it in your itinerary that before you get to your hotel or before you get to your campground or whatever, you stop at the grocery store on your way there, before you even go to sleep that night. But that is your itinerary. You arrive, grocery store, stock up if you're going internationally or just on a longer trip, and then go put the groceries away, go to bed. So then in the morning when you wake up and you want to go see the Mona Lisa, you have everything that you need and you don't have to think about it or stress about it. Groceries really are the top priority. You're gonna need a lot of food. So it's really great that most places in the world have grocery stores and you can find protein and produce, and so it's really totally doable, and this is the way that I like to go about my trips. So when you're on those longer trips, again, make sure you have that insulated lunch bag for your backup food, so that you can just have it just in case. And think about what you're going to eat the next day. So on our trips, maybe some of your habit stacks go out the window, but I would encourage you to still continue with the habit of writing down your food for the next day and eating what you wrote down, and have some flexibility there. Of course, you can't always plan exactly what you're going to eat when you're out of your home base, but try to think about it. You can plan ahead what you're going to have for breakfast and lunch and where you're going to go for dinner. It's look at the menu of the restaurant and before you get there. It's really not a good idea to decide what you're going to eat at a restaurant when you're starving and it smells so good and there's lots of not my food around. So try to look at the menu before you get there, decide what you're going to have, commit it to someone. You know, we still have texting internationally usually or locally, so text your buddy and just commit. You can do the bookending. If you're really worried about something and you're having a hard time, just say, you know, this is where we're going. I'm gonna have this for dinner, and I'll let you know how it goes. So, if you're going on a trip that's not planned by you, you really do just want to gather as much intel as you can and just plan for the worst case scenario, as well as if you're doing a trip that's planned by you. So, gather intel, plan for the worst case scenario, and just take ownership of your life. You are the creator of your life, and and your success with weight loss and with a healthy lifestyle. It really is dependent on you. You just have to decide and know it. You can't. Uh, no one is responsible for your success except for you. You know. So just gather intel, plan for the worst case scenario, and uh, and then some tips if you're traveling by plane. You know, again, take that lunch bag with all your backup food, the portable stuff, right? Just you can keep that in your personal bag, and because they are going to want to check your food, so be careful not to bring things that are water based, so that they don't get taken away. And try not to break into your backup food if you can. Still try to find a suitable restaurant en route to your destination so that you can just have the backup food and not have to use it. But at least you know that it's there. If you're traveling internationally, you know, look up the country where you're going and check for their guidelines on what foods are prohibited to bring into their country. I went to Mexico last summer and it was so fun. But I brought like all of this food, you know, to help me to stick to my plan. And then they took all my vegetables away. They took all of my food away, everything that I brought. And so, you know, check before you go when you're going into a country what their guidelines are for what foods can come in and out. If you're traveling with checked luggage, it is a lot easier because you can put stuff in there. So, some things that are really easy for breakfast. I really love those sugar and flour-free muffins that are just so portable, easy. There's these oatmeal balls where you take all of the ingredients of oatmeal, like with some peanut butter, and you roll it up into a ball, put some saran wrap around it, and in a Ziploc bag. And and then when you get there, you just have to add hot water and some fruit. And that's a really great thing to do when you're traveling. But be careful because it can look like drugs. So, you know, you'd probably want it in your checked luggage, not your carry-on. But Madras lentils, those little packets of Madras lentils are so easy. Yeah, you can take a lot of stuff in your checked luggage, but it's a little trickier with your carry-on. You know, just make sure it's not water-based. So, other ideas for breakfast that I love, we're doing a lot of camping this summer. So, I like to try to prep ahead as much as I can. Protein buns are really great. It's just egg, cottage cheese, and baking soda with oats. And you just mix that together and bake them into buns. And they're super portable. They're easy. Ricotta pancakes are really portable. I usually make those ahead of time. But I like to bring proteins like eggs, peanut butter, like hard-boiled eggs is what I mean. But yeah, those cottage cheese cups are great. Nuts, nut butter. So rice cakes with nut butter and berries is a great one. Cereal with cottage cheese and canned pineapple is very portable. Um, so again, those oatmeal bombs are great. Let's see here. Okay, for lunches, some of my favorite lunches when I'm traveling or camping are are like lunch meat. So turkey with lunch meat, and then you can just have some veggies with it. Like wrap it in some lettuce and make a cute little wrap. Or that's fun. So those salami and cheese packets from Costco. Costco also has packaged chicken that's really portable. So I usually, when I'm going camping, I like to just pack up a big cooler of all of this stuff from Costco that you can get tuna packets, hard boiled eggs, hummus, chicken, beef jerky. Those chomps are great. They are sugar free and totally compliant. Peanuts or any nuts. Those guacamole cups are great for a fat serving. The Texas caviar or the quinoa bean salad, that also travels really well. And what I'll do is I'll make it ahead of time and then I'll just put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in my cooler with some spoons. And you know, when we're camping, and that's just such an easy way to have a super healthy, delicious meal on the go. Again, the Madras lentils, you can do those with canned green beans or cauliflower rice. Costco has some cauliflower rice packets that are shelf stable, and those are super convenient for traveling. And again, like the fruit, like apples, oranges, that are just so portable are really the easiest way to go. Um, so one of the dinners I like when I'm camping, you know, we'll do like taco soup. We'll just put in some canned chicken and black beans, taco seasoning with Rotel canned tomatoes, canned corn with tomato sauce, an onion and garlic. And then you can top it with cheese or avocado, cilantro, green onion, a jar of like those jalapenos that come in the jar, or sour cream. And it's really great for the family too because they can add chips or whatever they want to on top. So that's one of the things we like to do when we're camping. But anyway, there's so many different ideas. I don't want to overwhelm you with too many ideas, but just know that it's possible, you guys. It is so possible and it's so worth it. So it doesn't have to be hard. It can actually be really easy. At first, yeah, it may feel hard because it's new. Anything that's new feels harder. But once you get some experience, then it starts to feel really easy and effortless. Some tips when I'm on the road and on a road trip, I like to bring sparkling waters in the car to have in between meals. I also like to bring all my tea packets, you know, the ones that are portable, because then when I go to a gas station and all of my kids are getting not my food, I can just get some, you know, hot water and then I can have my tea and I can put my tea packet and have that in the car as my little refreshment. And it's so fun. And it works so great. So let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, so just a typical day in the life of a trip is I would have my breakfast at home or in the Airbnb or hotel or in my tent or whatever. And then I would pack my lunch for the road and bring that with me, with, you know, hummus. I mean, all of those ideas I gave you, like hummus and veggies and string cheese and an apple, right? So easy. And then dinner, I would just decide ahead of time what I eat. So, yeah, I just want to empower you to know that it is possible to, this isn't really a sustainable lifestyle. A sugar and flour free lifestyle, you may feel like you're missing out at times in the beginning, but I'm really here to tell you that you're not. What you're really missing out on is diet related disease. You're missing out on a shorter life. and by choosing to stay on your plan on a vacation, you are strengthening your identity, which is a really important part of this. It doesn't have to be hard on your trip. If you make the decision before you go that you're going to stick to your meal plan no matter what, and have that mindset of no exceptions, no excuses, it just makes your trip so easy. You know, you've made the hard decision before you left, and now you just do it, right? So I really want to empower you to try it out, and to have a lot of grace and self-compassion in the process, right? None of us are perfect, and we make mistakes, and if you you know, can't eat perfectly on your plan, or your estimates are a little bit off or something, just give yourself grace. You're doing great. Just keep going, and get right back on track the next meal. Don't let it spiral out of control. The danger with eating off plan during a trip, and I've seen this time and time again for any special occasion, right? For a birthday or a holiday or a trip, is that it snowballs. And so one decision to eat not my food can turn into more permission giving thoughts, and more and more and more, until we find ourselves months or years later still struggling. And it doesn't have to be that way. So I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Bye.